The third principle of animation is the most popular one, squash and stretch. Squash and stretch exaggerate your motion by creating the illusion of weight and flexibility to make the animation appear even more natural and realistic. To get started, open your Bouncing Ball 2 slowinout.fla file. Save a new copy of this file as Bouncing Ball 3 squashstretch.fla. The bouncing ball we created in Chapter 2 with slow in and out looks a lot better than our first one, but it's still a little bit uninteresting. If you compare the two water balloons in this image, you can see the difference between adding squash and stretch and leaving it off. Squash and stretch is used to create the illusion of weight and flexibility. The balloon on the left appears heavier because it is stretched out at the top and because of the way it flattens when it hits the ground. The animation on the left might look a little bit exaggerated to you at first, but if you take a look at a video of a water balloon, you'll see that this actually does happen to some objects in real life. For objects that it doesn't happen to as dramatically, our eyes and brain work together to make us expect that it is happening. If we take a look at our own bouncing ball, we can see that when the ball hits the ground, there's no real feeling of impact. It just sort of exists. We've got the size worked out, and we've got the sense of speed worked out with slow in and out, but the bounce still needs something extra. Select the contact key where the ball is on the ground. Clicking that keyframe selects everything on the frame, in this case just the ball. We'll be squashing the instance of that symbol. Locate the toolbar and choose the Free Transform tool. You'll see a few little boxes surround our instance of the ball symbol on the stage. These are handles used to transform the shape of the object. The white dot in the middle is the object's center point, but don't mess with that yet. We want to squash the ball, and I'm sure you know what that looks like. You can scale the size manually by dragging these handles. It will take a little practice to keep the same volume of the ball while also keeping the ball in its relative position. For now, open the Transform panel on the right for more precise control. There's a link icon next to the percentage values. If it's solid, click it to make sure that the icon turns into a broken link. Unlinking the values makes sure we can change them independently. Adjust the shape's percentage manually in the Transform panel to 120 horizontal and 80% vertical. Whenever you're attempting to keep the same volume, the two numbers need to always add up to 200. The previous step just moved the ball off the ground a little, so it needs to be repositioned. With the symbol selected, select the Align panel and make sure the Align to Stage box is checked. Now, in the Align section of this panel, click the Align Bottom Edge icon all the way to the right. If you're not sure which button is which, hovering over the icons will display pop-up text for verification. Once you click that, your ball should align with the bottom of the stage. If you test your movie right now, you'll see that it looks very weird. It's squashing as it's falling, which is not what we want. Stretch needs to come into the equation first, because as the ball's falling, it's accelerating. We want it to stretch to enhance the illusion of speed. Squash and stretch are complementary actions and rarely exist separately. The squash and stretch principle is a lot like Newton's third law of motion. We're going to call it the law of animation. Wherever there is a squash, there is most likely an equal and opposite stretch. We'll look at how to add the stretch motion in the next video.